everybody, happy Friday part 2. We're doing a special mail vlog today. And for those that are new to the channel, we have a P.O. box down below. And folks from time to time will send us things. We don't ask for things to be sent to us. But folks have asked in the past to send stuff to us, like we kind of share our experiences with everybody. They try to share their experiences back with us, which is fantastic. So if folks want to send us postcards and letters, they have a lot of meaning tied to them, to us at times. I'm getting really distracted. What you guys can't see off camera, right at the bottom,
right now with
Eddie, one of our cats, is eating one of his mice. So what we've got from time to time is postcards, letters, and we have gotten kind of like gift boxes or packages, which are really super awesome because it makes me super awkward. So I think folks tend to like to watch me squirm from time to time. But over the last couple of months, the P.O. box hasn't been kind of jam-packed, so we've gotten things from time to time, and it hasn't been enough to like really collect and put into a mail vlog to film collectively for everything, and to put one thing off in some of our videos really kind of seemed awkward, because it would be a weird kind of transition, like, hey, we're outside at the park and all of a sudden now here's a thing that we got in the mail. But in any event, that said, it was a long introduction. I did get a box a little while back from someone who wanted to remain nameless again, and it actually included a birthday card. So I wanted to say thank you. I know this is going back. My birthday was like almost 2 months ago at this point, so I really apologize for not getting this on film before this. And along with the birthday card, folks know, if you haven't seen before, I'm constantly promoting like the Utz Gang Soldiers channel, mostly because the channel's fun. He does reviews, but he works for Utz, and Utz for us is a product that we used to love in New York City when we lived there. They don't typically have Utz down here. They started selling it at racetrack gas stations, making like a little bit of a dip into Florida. But we got a whole case of Utz braided honey wheat pretzel twists. And I actually ate like 2 of these things before, so if it looks a little dented, that's why. So this was really appreciated. I thank you very much. That was awesome. And for other folks that are new to the channel, you may not have experienced our amazing Halloween episodes last year, where we went pumpkin overload, because I made mention of the fact that I love pumpkin spice lattes. So it's hard to believe that we're in May now, so only like 4 more months from now we'll be back at Starbucks again with pumpkin spice lattes.
I won't.
And then I'm the only one in the house that likes pumpkin stuff, and we went from pumpkin spice latte overload last year to pumpkin spice everything. So we got a sampling of like everything in the world, including a lot of pumpkin beers, and people seem to really like the fact that we shot a video last year where I think I had like maybe, it was like 12 or 13 different pumpkin beers at a time to do a taste test. And a lot of folks asked, like, were you just sipping the beers for the taste test? And there wasn't a point of sipping the beers. I drank all the beers, and I never wanted to have another pumpkin beer after that. In any event, the other piece in this package, the care package, was pumpkin bites from Trader Joe's. And I didn't get to eat these yet, but I foresee, these are supposed to be dessert squares, I foresee coffee with pumpkin squares tomorrow morning. And we got a couple other kind of mixed CDs as well. I love music. If you guys haven't gathered that already, we just shot some stuff at Steel Panther, and we were up at Rockville and Sammy Hagar. But our musical tastes go all over the board, so it's not limited to metal. Metal is a predominant thing for us, I think, and rock. But it'll go from metal to country. So you guys saw Toby Keith earlier in the year, to hip hop, to to country, to anything. So we listen to everything and everything, and it's pretty awesome because we got CDs that kind of go the gamut here. So really awesome stuff. I love listening to like what other folks are listening to. And I don't encourage folks to burn music or rip music, but sharing music or telling folks, like what they like. I think it really gives a good window into like what somebody is all about. And Jesse's holding up the next piece. I think she wanted to read. We got this postcard. I don't know how well you can see the picture that's on here. But there's a picture. And this is like a really neat thing. So I've seen other people get these things. We have not gotten one of these up until this point. But they're postgrams. So basically, I think you can do these on your computer. Take a picture and put the text in, and then send a postcard from your computer where you don't actually have to write it out and send it yourself. So that was cool. But Jessie wanted to read the note, and I will see how well she's going to be able to read the country's name.
Oh, even.
She's got to read really loud though, and now I can sit back and enjoy myself.
Says, thanks for all your videos you keep posting. I thought I'd return the favor by sending you a postcard from my recent travels to Astana,
Kazakhstan.
Pictured is the presidential palace from across the frozen river. I arrived at a good time. It's reaching above freezing on most days, and the river is melting fast. Alice.
So this came from Alice, and this was a picture of her journey. So that is really super awesome. Like I said, some of the stuff that folks have sent in the past with pictures of where they're from or where they've gone to or traveled to, it's really awesome for us, because I know like we do a lot of videos about everything that's great in Orlando, and of course now in Jacksonville, and sometimes if I'm on the road for certain things for day job type stuff, you guys get the bonus of seeing where else we're traveling to, or I'm traveling to. But I love seeing different places from all over the world, whether it's throughout the States, or we get a lot of viewers from other countries. So, if you drop this a line with a postcard or anything, that is like one of the greatest gifts that we get. So that's super awesome. I love seeing other places. If we had all the money in the world, probably we would have all the money in the world if we stopped buying all the Star Wars stuff and everything. But if we had all the money in the world, or if we stopped going to theme parks, I would probably want to travel all over the place. And I think that's one thing that we've talked about forever is, you get to the point, I hate to say when you start thinking about like retirement or anything like that, that's Jessie's like the Oscars, where she says like, hey, you've been played off. But we've talked about like, if we ever had if you ever had enough disposable income, or you get to the point where you're retiring, we'd love to be able to travel around the world. We wanted to get an RV when we retire and just like hit all the Major League Baseball ballparks and all of the sites to see all over the country.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I was singing all the single ladies.
Oh.
All the single ladies. So the last package we got, I picked up today in this box, and I already cheated and kind of just ripped open at least the pieces, although I didn't dive into what's inside. And I know that
Ooh, can I read it?
I'm going to read the note.
Yeah.
If that is okay. And I apologize for kind of ripping this apart here. The note is taped with packing tape to the bubble wrap. So
There you go.
just going to try to fold this over so that I can
Poor paper.
read this here. So it's a bit of a long note. I am going to read this to everybody. So, and then I'm going to get into, I'll show you guys what is in the package. But this is the Kyle, Mary, and Jessie. Mary has to read like over my shoulders. I don't know if you guys, I plead sympathy in the corner. I know we got a lot of female viewers and everything too, but living in a house, and even though I'd say I'm not outnumbered because we have 2 male cats, if that counts. But
They can count as like quarter of a body.
It's trying sometimes. Kyle, Mary, and Jessie, because you can never have too many Star Wars wall clocks, I made you one to add to your collection. I've enclosed mounting hardware and a trusty AA battery, AA. It's an officially licensed deck by Santa Cruz that I drilled and installed the Seiko movement in. The movement's guaranteed for 3 years and should last much longer than that. If something happens to it, let me know. I hand-painted the hands with good old-fashioned Sharpies, so please forgive the unprofessional look of them. When I finish my airbrush, I'll send you a better painted set. When I fix my airbrush, I'll send you a much better, a better painted set. I apologize. It's just
really
a
late.
point of reference. It's 11:45 at night at this point. So, I did my best with the clock placement. Much lower it would have been perverted and much more funny. It's truly one of a kind, as I don't think anyone else has one, though my son now wants one, but it'll be a different deck. I've always wanted to make a clock from a skate deck, and when a friend of mine who teaches skate lessons at the local park made me aware of the Star Wars decks, I knew what I wanted to make, and I felt you guys were the most deserving of it. Of course, after I had this genius idea, I noticed you had a Death Star clock hanging up, and added another clock recently to your collection. So, yeah, the Star Wars clock we picked up probably like 3 weeks ago, or maybe even 4 weeks ago at this point,
Yeah.
at Hallmark. And then we bought a clock, Salacious Crumb, that's like a cuckoo clock, where his tail swings and his eyes move.
We can just have a wall of clocks.
Yeah, we just haven't hung it up yet because we needed to kind of drill anchors into the wall. Anyway, maybe you guys can start a Star Wars clock museum. Anyway, this clock is a thank you to your family from mine. Now it turns into a Casey Kasem letter. And that's not me saying that.
Who's that?
Casey Kasem was. This is a great point of reference, right? So, Casey Kasem, and Jesse asked that question, who's Casey Kasem? And I wonder if there's other viewers that don't know who Casey Kasem is, because maybe it's something that we take it for granted that when you're a little older in the States.
Yeah, I know.
Casey Kasem was one of the world's most premier like DJs, and he would do countdown, like top 40 countdown every week. And he'd have like a long distance dedication letter where you'd read a letter that was moving, and then somebody would dedicate a song from one person to another. And it was simulcast, so it would be in one radio station, but it would be all over the place. So
Double pop.
anyway, this we'll go back. It's going to turn into a Casey Kasem letter. I came across your vlog shortly after my father passed away last June. It was very hard for me. It still is at times, but it was harder for my son as he spent every day after school with his grandfather. So I decided to get those horrible images of his grandpa hooked up to oxygen over the last few months before his death and replace them with good memories of a healthy man that would take him to Disney and on trips to Florida, among other places. That's when we found View from the Cheap Seats. We would spend 10 to 20 minutes watching your vlog and mark it off the days until our vacation to Orlando. That's September. It really helped us to get our mind off of things and focus on the trip we were so excited for. Not sure if you remember, but we got to briefly say hello at Halloween Horror Nights while waiting for it to open, and they were wearing Mr. Bungle shirts. I remember very much so, because I always think when I meet people, it's tough because I always joke lately, Jesse's already crying, but it makes me want to cry. But we've opened the video the other day by saying, hey, this is Wayne Campbell, this is Garth Algar. It's a really weird twist on life now when you've got to the point where we go to different places, whether we went to Sammy Hagar or any of these other places, and people stop you, and they either, they say like, hey Kyle, or hey Cheap Seats, or, which is really weird to me. We use the Twitter name Kaisman, which goes back to when I was 16 years old, working at a place, and just the origins of that name was, from the Iceman Cometh. It was the Kaisman Cometh. So if people ever want to ask, like, how do you say the name? That's the name, Kaisman. And people are like yelling it out when we're at different places, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to the point of meeting, I definitely remember meeting you because it's so crazy to think, Mr. Bungle, for those that don't know, is a really way off band that I don't think many people really know. And I grew up, my life was rock and roll, metal, and a lot of punk rock and stuff. And Mike Patton is the singer from Faith No More, and also sang for Mr. Bungle. And it's a band that I don't know. Did you know who Mr. Bungle was? Okay, for me, they were a big band, and Faith No More was a big band. So I think like when you originally started commenting on videos, there was a connection right away of saying like, oh, that's crazy that somebody else knows what I'm talking about. So I definitely remember meeting you and your son, and I always think, God, am I just sounding like a total idiot when I meet people? And you never know what to say, because you guys are watching so much and taking things away from videos, and you want to ask people like, hey, that's great. Are you having a good time, or what's your favorite attraction, or what are you liking about this and everything, trying to make talk. So it's more weird for me, I think, than weird for anybody else. And we saw people, like I saw a couple people today that were at Hollywood Studios, that were like, hey, you know, and they were afraid to say something. And I don't want to go up to them and say like, hey, you're looking at me, you know, but I think it's totally cool when people come up and they want to say something. It's a more surreal thing for me than it is for you guys. I would say that. But anyway, briefly got to say hello at Halloween Horror Nights last year. And I can honestly say, the reason why I remember even you guys saying come up to me is because I know for sure it was at... Oh no, the camera shut off, so I don't know what I got, so I have to go back and try to re-edit things.
The Halloween Horror Nights Cabana Bay.
Okay, so you're staying at Halloween Horror Nights Cabana Bay. I apologize, the camera shuts off after 15 minutes, so that's another good sign of me saying I'm yapping too much. The skate deck is my way of saying thank you for what you've been doing. Keep spreading the word of treating others the way you would like to be treated. My parents always told me the same thing that stuck with me. If I run into you guys this fall when visiting the parks, I'll gladly buy you a beer. You guys rock. Cheers. Travis, aka Beer Man, because I brew beer, not because I'm an alcoholic. Please feel free to email me if you have questions on how to hang the deck, if you want to hang it. And the blue tape over the helmet is holding mountain bolts in place. So, and I really appreciate Travis is one of those folks that comments, I think, on like almost each and every video, and then for a while there was a gap, I think, where you know, we have usual regular folks, and we get the same comments again. I'll say it, you know, like people come back and they say, I can't believe that you try to respond to everybody still. And I think if you guys are leaving comments and putting thought into what you're saying in comments and taking the time to say something to us, that it deserves a response back, and that's just my feeling. I don't know if I could do that forever with the amount of stuff that we get, and I apologize if sometimes the comments get too long, you know, in delay of trying to get back to folks, but that's just life kind of getting in the way. But I'm going to show you guys what Travis sent, because this is like a mind-blowing type thing. And I'm going to try to carefully peel some of this tape here. So I got something covering his face.
That's where the mounts are.
Yeah. All right. On the back. Well, that's the deck.
Yeah.
That's the trucks and the mounts. So this is it. Let's cover Jesse's face and Mary's face. Check this out.
That is so wild.
A
That is-
lightsaber.
Yeah, you
So
know,
now you can see like where
get the
now
point.
you get the point with the clock and saying that the face would look a little bit more perverted if it was down lower. That would be hilarious. That would be perfect for us, our sense of humor. So this is beyond. I mean,
You
it's
just had the thing pop off.
what popped up.
That's why he put the tape on it.
I'm screwing everything up, Travis. Yikes.
That's why he put the note in there to
Yeah.
say the tape is holding the mounts.
He's back. We censored the stormtrooper, but
He's a bad stormtrooper.
this is truly amazing, and I'm blown away that you would think so much to send something like this to us.
Yeah, this is amazing.
You know, I think that eventually, like I said, I gotta do some work in the kitchen, and we've been talking about painting this room forever. We have a huge George Lucas picture that needs to go up. Not a picture of George Lucas, it's a painting of like every character from his movie signed by him that needs to go up on the wall in here. So I think once that goes up, we'll put this up on the wall in here also, because it's deserving of being in the living room and not hanging in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Put it
So,
right there.
I am truly blown away. And I don't know if you guys have seen before in videos, I think maybe in the introduction, I don't remember if I left it in or not. I've got, Mary was nice enough at one point. For those, this is going to go on and on this video, I apologize. But for those that don't know, when we moved to Florida, we bought annual passes for Van Skate Park. And believe it or not, I'm not always this fat. And when I was much younger, I skated all the time. So the combination of Star Wars and skateboarding was mind-blowing. But when we moved here initially, not to do with Star Wars, we did annual passes for Van Skate Park. I had not been on like any type of hills or ramps in years, and everything came back so quick. Like, oh, you can do this, you can do this. And I went to the top of like a ramp, and this little kid told me like, "Are you gonna go or what?" And when I went to go, the board went out from underneath me and I fell, and I completely cracked my shoulder blade from here down to here, and ripped part of my rotator cuff, and it was excruciatingly painful. But I got back up to try to show everybody, like, oh, you're gonna get back up and walk it off, and I did that for like a week before I went to the hospital. So Mary was this is the payoff of the story. The long story short, for years I didn't skate again, and I only got fatter. And Star Wars came out with these decks from Santa Cruz, and they have full built boards as well. And Mary bought me last year for my birthday a longboard.
Mine is better.
Star Wars. It has a Stormtrooper on it as well. Because Stormtroopers are the best, let's face it.
And light up wheels, man.
Yeah, so Jessie got a board also. So when she cracks her teeth, she'll know. I've done everything from getting hit by cars to to virtually breaking every bone, but it's worth it.
Not me.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And the clock pieces here, this is just it's totally amazing. I'm blown away. I'm just blown away. I'm blown away with this, and I'm blown away with the note. And I don't want to I'm going to belabor this because I think folks are going to tune out. But I think the part that gets Jessie upset.
Stop it!
You guys don't know.
Stop!
We're in a very similar situation. Jessie doesn't like hearing it or talking about it because I think you'd get numb to it after a while. But for those that don't know, I've said this a bunch of times too if you're new to the channel. My dad passed away, and it's hard to believe that it's 5 years in just another month. So 5 years ago, and growing up, I didn't see my dad or hang out with him as much as I think we probably wanted to because he worked 2 jobs. And I think that when you guys see the videos all the time, we're trying to do things as a family. I think I try to cram like as much as I possibly can into every day so that Jessie has as many memories as she can with her dad. Because when my dad passed away, I think I felt a little cheated. He was 67 years old, and to me, that's kind of young. We just saw Sammy Hagar the other day, he's 67. But in any event, no, Mary doesn't want to watch. It's very touching because it's hard to think. Jessie was obviously 10 years old when it happened. So, and she got to spend a good chunk of time by living down here with him. So, letter is very touching, and I appreciate it. So. Anyway, don't take the tears as a bad thing, because I think it's refreshing to kind of think of those memories and to think of, it's healthy, I think, to long for things in the past or to miss things, because you create such great memories. And, I'm happy that we were able to help you guys get past something painful. And it's not painful after a while. It's more, I think, regret or wishing that you had more time, but you get to appreciate the time that you had. So this is the channel, this is what we do. We go out and we have we make the most out of every day so that we can have enough memories. So she's able to look back. We did something like every day for the last year and change, and while we touch folks with our videos, it's something that these guys can always look back on in their future too, and as long as YouTube is up. So, in any event, I'm blown away. Thank you for the board. Thank you for the postcard. If you guys want to send postcards to us, the address is below in every description for the videos. It's built in the description, so you just got to scroll through sometimes. I don't know if you guys read the descriptions, but every day I have to throw like a little blurb in there to say what it is. I didn't get to the point where it's just like one stock thing of like, hey, we had fun, check this out. And thank you for the birthday card. Thank you for the pretzels. Eddie's trying to eat the peanuts now that came in the box with the pretzels and stuff, and she wants to eat the plastic. So in any event, on that note, thank you for all of your likes. Thank you for your comments. Thanks for your subscriptions. Again, treat others the way you want to be treated. That's important. I say that every video, and I think sometimes we gloss over things. But somebody had said at work today, probably we were somebody was complaining about something, and they said, like, there's probably like 80% of the people or more in this world are jerks, but they use a different word. And I said 20% of them are worthwhile, and I think it's the point of finding those 20%, because those 20% will come to you if you treat them the way that you want them to you want to be treated. So We try to throw out what we, the way that we want to be treated. Hopefully you guys catch that message. So treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. We'll see you guys. Thank you for watching. Thanks for all the mail. This is awesome.
Thank you.